If you've played Wuthering Waves, you've probably felt it. That feeling like the world is haunting, empty, but somehow alive. And you'd probably say it's the visuals, which, yeah, are pretty stunning. But mute the game for a second, and that feeling just disappears. What you were actually responding to wasn't what you were looking at, it's what you were hearing. And the deeper I dug into it, the more I realized something. The names of the enemies, the names of your characters, the way the whole power system works. It's all pulled from real concepts in music. Stuff most players have never noticed. They hid the entire lore of this world inside the audio. Let me show you what I found. Hey, I'm Josh from Audio Mash. I've spent 15 years doing music production and running a record label. Audio Mash is where I break down anything related to sound and give my opinion on it. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for being here. A quick note, I've kept this video completely spoiler-free, so no worries if you haven't finished the story yet. Now let's get on to it. The first thing I noticed when I actually stopped and listened, and I mean really listened, is what's not there. There are no warm, comforting sounds in the overworld, no real feeling of hope, no sound that makes you feel safe. What you get instead is wind, and underneath that, the sense of unease that is built through intentional sound design in the environment. It feels calculated, unforgiving, and missing things in all the right places. Now, as a producer, specifically someone who works in the more minimal styles of music, this immediately caught my attention. Because that kind of restraint, that's actually really hard to pull off. Most people's instinct when building a world or a track is to fill it. More layers, more sound, more presence, more everything, right? So there's a concept in music called negative space, which is the idea that what you leave out matters just as much as what you put in. That the silence between the notes is what give the notes themselves meaning. And that's exactly what I heard loading into this game for the first time. Someone who understood that silence is a choice and not a gap. Okay, this is the part that actually made me stop playing for a bit and just ponder for a second. The main enemies in this game are called tacit discords. Cool sci-fi name, right? Sounds futuristic, sounds made up. It's not. Tacit is a real musical term. It comes from classical notation. When a section of an orchestra is marked tacit, it means they are playing nothing. They are silent. The enemies in this game are literally named after silence. Now, a quick music theory moment. Harmony is when notes work together. They complement each other, they sound right. Discord is the opposite. Notes clashing, fighting, creating tension, and sounding wrong. So if we put those two together, tacit and discord. Yeah, very incredibly well thought out. Now let's flip it to your characters. They're called resonators. And again, not just the cool sci-fi word. Resonance is a real acoustic phenomenon. When something resonates, it vibrates at its natural frequency in response to an external force. You've probably heard that opera singers can break a glass with their voice, right? Well, that's not a myth. It actually works. What they're doing is finding that exact natural frequency of the glass and sustaining that note at a loud enough volume that the glass just shatters. Not with force, with the right frequency. So that's a resonator. That's literally what your character is doing. And that is actually the two sides of this game. The entire conflict of Wuthering Waves is harmony versus dissonance. And you felt that before you ever read a single piece of lore. Resonators are the harmony, tacit discords are the dissonance. Here's something else that really impressed me, and I want to see if any of you can figure it out before I actually reveal it. The tacit marks, those tattoo-looking things on all the resonators. Take a real good look at the shape of them, and tell me what you think they are based off. Pause the video if you need to, and really have a look. If you guess they look like waveforms, then you are absolutely correct. Like, actually, the same shape you'd see if I opened up any DAW here and looked at a recording. Here's the waveform of my voiceover, just for example purposes. Yeah, pretty mind-blowing, right? Let me know if you guys got that one down in the comments. So, they put a waveform on your character's skin. The visual design of a resonator is literally branded with the thing they channel: sound. You've been looking at sound this whole time without realizing it. As someone who spends hours every week staring at waveforms myself, I honestly should have realized that one way sooner. Then there's the echo system, which is honestly my favorite detail in the whole game. When you defeat a Tacit Discord, it doesn't immediately disappear. A form of them remains behind for you to capture and use in battle. Kind of like catching a Pokemon with a Pokeball. That's called the echo. Think about what an echo actually is. You shout across a canyon, your voice leaves, travels, bounces back. It's not really you anymore, but it's still carrying your sound. A copy of something that already happened, returning from somewhere else. That's the ecosystem exactly. You defeat something, its frequency bounces back, and you catch it. The game mechanic and the audio concept are literally the same thing. Now you may be thinking, okay, the enemy names and stuff are musical terms, cool details. Can't get any deeper than that, right? Wrong. Most English-speaking players never think about what the game is actually called in Chinese. It's called Ming Chao. And no, it doesn't translate to Wuthering Waves. Ming means to make a sound, and Chao is tide. So if we put those together, yep, that's right, Sound Tide. The freaking game was always called Sound Tide. Sound is in the original title, and most players in the West have no clue. I'm gonna keep going here. Keep yourself prepared. Looking at the English title, Wuthering Waves. Wuthering. Right. Wuthering. That's an Old Norse word that literally means the sound of roaring wind. You could even argue that the word waves in the English title is referring to sound waves. Roaring loud sound waves. Oof. Anyways, point is, in both languages, the name of the game is about sound. Now look at the stamina system. Every gacha game has one. Genshin calls it resin. Honkai Star Rail calls it stamina or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. Generic names for a generic system. This game here calls it wave plates. And it isn't talking about oddly curved tableware either. Your daily energy is literally measured in waves. Because in this world, as we figured out, waves are everything. Now, without going into major spoilers, this is something you'll figure out very early in the game. The main big bad bosses are called Threnodians. Well, a Threnodian itself isn't a real thing. A Threnody is. It means a song of mourning or a funeral hymn. They named the most destructive things in this world after musical grief. So, let's just take stock of what Kuro Games actually did here. They built a world where the apocalypse is in the ambience, where the enemy names are musical terms, where the power system is real audio physics, where you can capture the frequency of something you defeated because sound in this world has memory. Now that is not just decoration. Every single audio decision in this game is pointing at the same idea, that sound is not just something you hear, it's the foundation the entire world is built on. So next time you load into Wuthering Waves, I want you to just close your eyes and listen. You'll hear it differently now. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you around, and peace out.